Lesson 5. If we pay taxes, they should build dignity. Today, we're going to talk about something deeply personal, elder care. Our parents raised us, built our cities, paid their dues, so why, after a lifetime of contribution, are so many elders treated like an afterthought?
It's horrible, especially when it's in a situation like this.
Luigi Mara says the last time he saw his father Vincenzo, he was happy and healthy. They celebrated his 80th birthday in March. Then the pandemic hit. The visits stopped, and 3 months later, he died in hospital.
The intake nurse that took him in, pulled me aside and said that he was malnutritioned and dehydrated, and she knew that he was coming from a home.
Mara claims there was neglect.
He was being left in a bed for 24 hours, 30 hours at a time.
Modification au code criminel.
Last week, the government promised changes, including amendments to the criminal code to explicitly penalize those who neglect seniors in their care. Not enough, says this criminal lawyer.
The real problem here is a lack of resources, a lack of oversight, a lack of regulation, and a lack of provincial governments doing their job, and a lack of the federal government insisting that job be done and helping pay for it.
It's already illegal not to provide the necessities of life, but some say the law isn't specific enough and is aimed at individual workers, not long-term care homes.
There's a lot of elder abuse.
Physical abuse, physical injury to the resident.
Vaughn and Mary know exactly what that abuse can look like. They secretly recorded Vaughn's mother being victimized at Craigley Nursing Home in 2019. She passed away later that year.
Why is this continuing to happen? Where is the accountability?
There's no tolerance whatsoever for negligence or abuse.
But a CBC News analysis from last fall found 85% of Ontario's long-term care homes repeatedly break the law with nearly no consequences. It's still happening.
Across the country and around the world, we're seeing horrifying reports. Elders abandoned, neglected, or stuck in outdated facilities with barely any staff. And yet, when we keep paying taxes, every paycheck, every year, we were told these taxes were a promise that when our time came, we'd be safe. That promise is being broken.
Falls like this, one of the reasons Diane Tamblin decided to install cameras in her father's long-term care room. What she didn't expect to capture, staff stepping over him to change the bed as he lay on the floor.
Imagine being 80 years old and having to beg for dignity. That's not just a broken system, that's a broken moral compass. And before someone says, well, there's no money, remember this, governments always find money for stadiums, for wars, for bailouts. Why not for the people who build this country?
Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing new Canadian sanctions against Russia on the final day of the G7 summit in Alberta.
The second is we are providing additional military assistance, drones, helicopters, broader munitions, over $2 billion worth of assistance directly to Ukraine. And thirdly, we are dispersing the next tranche of the loan based on the frozen Russian assets, over $2 billion as well.
And here's the truth. When you treat the elderly with dignity, you teach everyone that they matter. It builds trust, it builds culture, it builds the kind of country worth living in. According to OECD data, countries like Denmark spend nearly twice as much per capita on elder care as Canada. It's not about being rich, it's about choosing to care.
1 in 4 Danes will be 65 years or over. In order to keep a larger elderly population healthy and independent in the future, Denmark is moving towards more efficient elderly care, which empowers and supports senior citizens to stay healthy in their own home.
One of the main challenges we are having in Denmark is, of course, the demographic challenge, and we are trying to face that in our planning. And from the political side here in our parliament, we are trying to combine at least 3 things to reach our goals, and that is to do our welfare sector working with the elderly people more efficient. And we try to detect diseases and weakness among the elderly people as early as possible. And then we are focusing on dementia, because dementia, when we look in the future, will develop dramatically in Denmark too, as in other countries. So we have to face these problems.
So here's what we ask from our leaders. Invest in modern elder care homes, regulate staff to patient ratios, make dental, vision, and long-term care part of universal health, and most of all, listen to the voices of senior and not just the accountants. Let's build a society where aging doesn't feel like punishment, but like peace. If we pay taxes, they should pay us back with dignity. I hope you guys really like my video. It really comes truly from like my heart. These are real life problems that we're having, and you know, it's not a joke. We have to start speaking up, because it doesn't matter if you're like 40, 30, or 20. We're all getting older, and this is something to look forward to when you're getting older. Do you want to be mistreated? Do you want to be in this type of environment when you're older? You know, and we need to be better, and we need to speak out against things like this. So I really do hope that you like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.